Hello, everyone, and welcome to another slightly tipsy episode of Bodied Cloud9 Fancast. I'm joined by Frozencreek.
Yeah, I just watched the Michigan State basketball game at Penn State, and we pulled out an incredible win. So I am tipsy, tipsy on adrenaline or something.
Did you win? Did you point?
Yes, we came back from 19 points down, and
Damn, that's actually kind of hard
on
to
the
do
road
basketball.
and we won against a ranked Penn State team. So we are now tied for first in the Big Ten.
Oh, sick. Well, good for Michigan State.
Yeah, we are a basketball school, and we have been for quite some time. Minus 2015 when we went to the playoffs in football, and it did not go well.
That was the 1 year you were a football school, and then
Well,
after that, back to basketball.
Yeah, there were a couple years that we were a football school, but specifically 2015 when we played at Alabama, and it did not go well.
No, it did not.
Not for Michigan State, but I know that you're an Alabama fan, so I'm sure it was fine for you guys.
Yeah, anytime Alabama wins is good because I'm from there.
But, or was it 2000? Either way, we played in the Cotton Bowl twice that year. So was it 2016 or was it 2015 we played you guys?
I don't know years. Look, it blurs together. We go to the national championship a lot. You got to be way more specific.
I mean,
it's like a Batman Beyond meme. It's like the Batman Beyond meme.
Well, I think it was 2015 because we played in the 2014 Rose Bowl, so we would have played in the 2015 Cotton Bowl on New Year's Day, where we trashed BYU during their it was before we found out about their whole rape scandal stuff, and then we played Alabama into the 2015 Cotton Bowl again. So
I see.
So, but it was not a good electric boogaloo that time. So,
not.
But other than that, we've always been a basketball school.
Cool. Well, good. I'm glad your school won. I'm glad you guys did the win. But
Me too.
Let's get to some Cloud9 action, Frozen, because that's what everyone's really here for. And I have a question.
Fine.
Do you like DOTA, Frozen?
I don't have many opinions about DOTA, but I heard that we have some news.
So Cloud9 seems to really like DOTA, and only a few DOTA players in particular, because
once or twice a year other year we like DOTA. As Cloud9.
This is like the third or fourth time that we have signed this person, but like C9 announced like today, and it seemed out of the blue because the team hasn't played in any other events besides the one that they lost at, but they had signed Eternal Envy and Ace. So like these guys have played for C9 before, like multiple times. So we're re-signing Eternal Envy and Ace to DOTA, along with this guy named Sneaky King, with Scam and VT Faded have been benched while Flea has been released.
Yeah, I wonder if in his downtime Sneaky picked up DOTA and he just changed his name to Sneaky King.
He just changed his name. That would be really funny.
Yeah, so I know a couple of my friends are DOTA fanboys, and they always talk about how DOTA is so much harder than League, which it probably is, but like I just choose to believe that the Sneaky King is actually just sneaky.
That'd be honestly really funny. And
yeah,
he comes like he's wearing like a mask, right? Like every game and interview he's wearing like a mask, but then like on the going to TI he rips it off and it's like, it was me, Sneaky, like it was me, Dio.
Yeah, just
thing. But
it was a really good cosplay the whole time.
Yeah, I was trying to do a JoJo meme. It wasn't as good as
I got it.
You got it. That's the important thing.
I got it. I promise.
Okay, good.
My mind's all over the place because we are recording this Tuesday night at almost 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So anything that happens after this did not happen, but this happened beforehand.
Yeah, luckily. Moving on to, I guess, some other short news. There wasn't a lot that happened over the past week. Rocket League did lose to G2 in RLCS. I believe now they're like 1-3 or something. 1-3, maybe 1-4. That is not a good look for Cloud9 Rocket League, especially when your team is, or at least previously known for, very high consistent play. So
yeah, not a good look.
Not a good look at all. A lot of people are saying they're expecting to see some sort of roster changes, probably at the end of the season. I wouldn't be surprised at this point. I mean, if you're doing this badly, something's got to give, right? And this is after the previous season where they had to go through the relegation tournament to stay in the RLCS.
Yeah, this team has been together, I think, the longest of all Cloud9 teams.
Yeah, it's the longest. It's the longest consistent Cloud9 roster.
Yeah, it might just be about time to make some switches to revitalize our Rocket League team, because aside from our Worlds win, 2 years ago at this point, we've been not good.
Yeah, we've been just struggling, and sometimes change is good, and sometimes you just need to switch things up and get a new mixture. And I have to give it to them for sticking for it as long as they have. I mean, if you were a pro player, right, and you were like a really like consistent top 4 player, you've won a world championship, how much would you say you would stick around with like your same team and just keep it going instead of like trying to field other offers to get like a bigger contract from other teams?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that all of them are super young, so maybe they just need a change of scenery to kick that drive back up, because they've been playing Rocket League for quite some time, and and for some people it can get to you. So maybe it is about that time. So
yeah, I can definitely see that, and it's not. I don't think that necessarily players wanting to go to different teams is necessarily bad. I think it does suck. Like, when Jensen left, I was very upset. Or when Sven left, I was also very upset. And and that's like,
of course,
from a fan's perspective, it sucks, and we don't like it. And from a fan's perspective, it's oh, why would they leave? Why would they betray the team like this? But from like a player point of view, your paycheck is all about the contract and you playing consistently. And so if you can get a bigger and bigger contract each time or every like couple of years, that's just you getting paid. There's in the grand scheme of things, there's nothing wrong with it, because it is them essentially trying to promote themselves and get a better wage.
Oh yeah, and since esports, especially a non-league esports, only get like 2 or 3 years of prime paycheck, like it makes sense to get paid as much as you can. So,
or if you're Hooney and you just get 2.5 million for some reason
for playing Lucian Top with Ignite.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, it sucks. Hopefully we can fix Rocket League somehow, either the team just playing better, or we shuffle the roster a bit and get some players that are fresher and are a bit more motivated. But moving on, the London Spitfire are not in dead last. They are coming off a hot 2-0 week after spending some time in Texas. They beat the Houston Outlaws and the Florida Mayhem, both in essentially a final 5th map tiebreaker.
Oh yeah, a big deal, especially on Houston's homestand too.
Oh yeah, and I always feel bad for them because like these are rookie players, right? These are young guys who've been selected and picked for their own individual qualities to play for an Overwatch League team, and they're just going to each homestead and they're just getting fucking booed and heckled as they come out of the stage. You know, like clearly not the favorites, and it I have to give it to them for having the emotional fortitude, you know, the mental fortitude to go out there, get booed, play, you know, your heart out, and end up beating these teams, especially on like the fifth map where nerves are going to be high across the board.
Oh yeah, and they're still performing. They got a big win. What, in Boston last week? 2 week,
They didn't play
a week and a
two
half
weeks
ago at this
ago.
point.
Yeah. So not last week. They.
They
Yeah,
won
yeah,
a
yeah,
game
yeah.
5 in the
Last week,
finals.
they played against the Washington Justice,
That's what it
and
was.
that was another 3-2 win.
Or
So
that
they're
was their first win. Yeah.
yeah, so they're winning these matches, but it's very close. And these are also teams that are kind of lower on the power rankings than, you know, say like New York Excelsior or somebody. But I think these are good wins. They're definitely confidence boosters, and I think it's actually beneficial to go to all 5 maps for this team, win or lose, because that's just giving them more stage time and more time to develop synergy and figure out what needs to be fixed. So
Oh, agreed. Yeah, and they're sitting in playoffs right now after
yeah,
5 games.
they're in 6th place right now, which is actually surprising.
Oh yeah, huge couple weeks for the Spitfire. The 2-0 week was a big difference for them, and with the London homestead coming up, I think it's only good news.
Yeah, that's going to be at the end of the month. That's going to be really exciting. I think the boys are probably really excited to go and play on their home turf. You know, have the crowd like on their side for once. Not next week, but the week after will be maybe their most challenging week. They're going to have to go up against the Philadelphia Fusion and the Atlanta Reign. Philly has not lost yet, and the Atlanta Reign is sitting at nearly 1 spot below us on the rankings right now.
Or yeah, that's the homestead, right?
That's
Or
the
is
Florida
that
Mayhem's
week?
homestead.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Ours is, I
okay.
believe,
Yeah,
2
that's
weeks
fine.
after.
Oh, we
Yeah,
can
ours is
still
2
beat
weeks after.
Atlanta.
Yeah, I haven't watched much of Atlanta or Philly, so I'm not sure exactly how strong they are. And I think that with such a young team that's constantly learning and trying to get better, it's really difficult to know where to place us in terms of how strong we are. So I think we just have to take it a match at a time. I think that we need to just play with some confidence and some aggression. You know, play around JMac and Glister as kind of your 2 big winning conditions, and you know, just try to keep each other alive and have some good teamwork. And I would honestly like to see some more hero diversity coming out. You know, we've mostly just seen like JMac on like Reinhardt, for instance, or you know, Glister's mostly been playing McCree. The hero bans coming through for this week will definitely be interesting. I believe the hero bans are Reinhardt,
And Widow.
McCree. It's Reinhardt, McCree, Sombra, I think, and then
Okay. So there's
Moira.
a few more. Okay.
Yeah, it's 1 tank, 1 support, and 2 DPS.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that changes things then.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how our team adapts to this, and how every team adapts to it in general. I could see us maybe playing more some dive focused comps because Shui is actually really known for his Genji and his Pharah way more than like his Mei. They just play that because she's meta.
Yeah. I actually didn't watch it, so I assume
I read somewhere that he
that you're
was really
correct.
good at Genji, and I think he played it a bit at on the last map against Florida. and or maybe Mayhem. I can't remember which, but he played it once and he was like crushing it.
I agree.
But it's gonna be tough. We'll give you more information, I guess, next week on when to watch that game.
Yeah. With that coming up in 2 weeks, then I feel like next week's appropriate. Then I can try and catch something beforehand.
Yeah, but I'm really excited. I'm really proud of the team for getting those two really hard fought wins and kind of putting themselves a bit up there in the rankings and everything, And yeah, but let's move on to League of Legends.
Do you want to start with our few general LCS things?
Yeah, we can.
All right, so I am going to spring this on you, but let's do another episode of the good, the bad, the ugly, and the Dignitas.
Okay.
I feel like it shouldn't be too hard, just because there's
No,
only
it shouldn't
one.
be too hard.
Because there's only one good team, and I think we all agree that it's Cloud9.
Oh, after watching this week's games especially, it's definitely Cloud9.
Yeah,
I
so
don't think there's any other team you could maybe place in good. I think you could put FlyQuest in good, with the caveat that they are like a ladder, like a peg or two lower than Cloud9.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the point where it's good is Cloud9, bad is FlyQuest, and then the ugly is everyone but CLG, and then the ugly is CLG. Or shit, sorry. The ugly is everyone but CLG, and then the Dignitas is CLG.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I mean, looking at the top three teams, I mean, Team Liquid is looking pretty strong. They actually look better without Doublelift than with Doublelift, which is also the funny thing.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird switch for them. I know that Doublelift was sick this week, so they brought in Tactical, but he seemed to kind of put the team together after Doublelift said on camera that he kind of just didn't give a shit to split.
Yeah, it was definitely a weird swap, but Tactical seemed to slot in really well, and he was playing really well. I actually wouldn't mind seeing him more, especially because I think if Doublelift didn't play in Team Liquid anymore, I could actually root for them. And I want one of those X-Men jerseys frozen. If I could get an X-Men jersey, that would be amazing.
It's not worth it because it's not
$80.
Yeah, that's certainly not worth it. I've bought jerseys.
But then again, I pay
much cheaper.
Then again, I pay like over 100 for comic books on a regular basis. So
yeah, but it's still Team Liquid and not Cloud9.
that's true.
So
that's
big
true.
difference.
If Cloud9 once Cloud9 gets a Marvel sponsorship, I'll definitely snag one.
All right. Well, I agree with you on the fact that there is only one bad team, and that's FlyQuest.
Yeah, I mean, I guess transitioning into what our actual games, when we did play against FlyQuest over this weekend, they were the only team that seemed to challenge us, but that was really only by a little bit. Like
Yeah.
Even in our game, they presented some challenges, but we weren't really that far behind. I believe we were in control of the game and the golding and everything most of the time.
Or yeah, if you go back and watch Cloud9 versus SKT in what, season 8 Worlds, season 7 Worlds, where we kind of fought with them the whole game, but their goldie just like kept growing and growing and growing despite the kills being similar. That's like what watching this game was like. Through the entire game, Cloud9 was up in gold, but FlyQuest still kept fighting pretty
Yeah, the kill
well.
score was usually even, but our gold was always like 2,000 or 3,000 ahead or something.
Oh yeah, and that's why I think FlyQuest is the only bad team, because they were able to keep up with us for once in kills, but they couldn't keep the gold at a similar level. So it was a lot like watching Cloud9 face off against an LCK team a year or two ago.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that the team is just, I don't know what happened. I think maybe there's definitely some stuff, and I'm not sure how linked it is to getting rid of Sneaky, but it seems that this team seems to be much more driven and much more focused. You know, like everyone seems to be grinding out practice, and everyone seems to be really focused on improving and taking things really seriously, rather than it being more of the fun, kind of fun-loving, everyone's playing games and palling around. I mean, they still have that atmosphere, but it's not the focus of the team anymore. And, you know, I think everyone, when you just look across the roster, everyone is playing amazingly. Like, it's weird when you look at Licorice being our worst performing player, and that's not even him being garbage. Licorice is playing amazingly, and he's just now being eclipsed by Blabber, Niski, Sven, and Vulcan in terms of just general play, because they're having so much more time because we've shifted focus from top side being the strong half to bot side because Drakes are more important, as well as we actually have a strong bot lane in which to play around.
Oh yeah, and I feel like a lot of that has to do with Vulcan being
100%.
Oh yeah, being like a giant rock that Sven can just slap around and treat the their bot lanes like a little bitch. So I think Vulcan has been like the biggest difference in our our bot lane this year, and I think Sven has kind of been a really good complement to how our team has been playing as a whole, where he's not taking risks, but he's doing everything he needs to allow Blabber and Niski to play around the map and take dragons and heralds. So
Yeah, I think that Sven and Vulcan just complement each other so much. You know, they're not afraid to go for plays, but they know exactly when not, you know, like when to take their foot off the gas. And everyone seems to just have this sense of like tempered aggression where they know exactly how far to push an issue. And on top of that, we just have really good, strong mechanics. Like Niski is not even the same player that he was last year. You know, Niski last year, he was go for these crazy plays. He'd like always like trade himself, or he would just kind of die sometimes, or he'd make some decisions that were just like, that was really weird. Why do you do that? But now he's making all these smart plays, and he's making all of these plays that are just really impactful. You know, not only in just getting kills, but making rotations and putting pressure on the map where he needs to be. Like he roams so much, and he roams with Blabber to ensure that a play can happen. And it's pretty amazing. Like watching the Dignitas game, which was just C9 just pummeling them into the pavement. Everyone's going, stop, they're already dead. But that 3-man Cassiopeia ult that he hit, where he buffered the flash, he ulted and buffered it so when he flashed, it would go past the wall, and he got like 3 people, and they just all died. It was just amazing, and I don't think that Niski last year would be able to make that play.
oh yeah, I think a lot of it has it like do with the fact that he spent his whole off season learning the game all over again. Like last year, he knew what the idea of what he should be doing is, and now he kind of like learned and experimented and failed a bunch of times that and now he knows what he should be doing, not he knows what he thinks he should be doing, if that makes sense. And his individual play in team fights is also stellar, pointing to that flash ult by Cassiopeia against Dig. But he still did have a few moments where it was Insky and Oniski. But I think overall he's done an incredible job this year. But I guess we should lead to the Dig game. First off, I want to give a shout out to the League Leaders podcast for having me on their show. It was a lot of fun to interact with them throughout the week. And because of them, I hope Dig does well and gets the playoffs so we can meet again. But As great as they were, Dig's draft was equally as bad. Grabbing the Lucian Flash Ignite top for Huni was probably the trollest. It was probably the trollest draft in all of League of Legends this year.
Yeah, that was such a weird draft. Like Huni going top Lucian with Ignite just seemed very reckless, and Grig having Elise, which, you know, if we've seen this all season, where if you pick an Elise and you don't do anything with her, your team is just going to suffer because she does nothing, you know, outside of just being a cocoon bot. And that's exactly what Grig became, because Grig tried to apply pressure top, but he got nothing out of it, and Cloud9 was just taking resource after resource up on the map. And so Grig was not only behind, but he had nothing to really bring to the team. And Froggen picking Anivia just seems really weird. And Johnson on Jinx too. You know, those are like really hyperscaling champions. You know, we don't see those a lot. And, you know, once you get like a bunch of items, yeah, they can like stat check you and do really good damage, but like you have to kind of get there, you know. And Grig wasn't visiting their lanes at all to try to help them out. Snowball at that point, he was trying to visit Huni, you know, and help his early game pick explode. And, you know, since that didn't work out, the whole team just kind of fell apart.
Oh yeah, he tried to babysit Huni top, but Licorice absorbed the pressure super well, and Cloud9 just kind of out macroed them at that point. We got the first drag, we got the first two drags, both heralds, and we
then got Dragon Soul and then Baron at the same time.
Yeah,
because we killed them all.
And after we gave them the third drag, the game was over with. We traded the Infernal Drag for 2 towers mid, and at that point, 2 towers mid and 1 tower top, and at that point it was GG.
Yeah, so, that was at like 15 minutes, which is also
really bad. It was bad. Like, I guess the ambition was good from Dig, but they didn't really do anything once they were like, we're gonna go all in on early game. They were kind of just gave up after they drafted. So, and at that point it was GG.
Yeah, it was a pretty open and shut game. I really don't have anything to say on it. It was pretty much one and done.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. This week we have TSM on Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which should be a good game. And then Monday we have Golden Guardians at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. So the same schedule as this week, actually, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah,
yeah, it's actually pretty much the same game.
I think it is. Yeah, TSM is in free fall at this point in time. They drafted Maokai mid for some reason and into the game, and then they lost to CLG, which is CLG's second win of the year. So I feel like they're going to be trying to bounce back, but I'm not entirely sure they have what it takes to take down Cloud9 at this point.
I mean, I think they maybe can. Dardak is a jungler who, if you're able to let him play fairly aggressively in the early game, he can definitely do some things. And Bjergsen is a rock in the mid lane. I think, honestly, TSM's issues have just been struggling to do things within the mid game, because it seems like in a lot of their games, they'll either not do enough in the early game or nothing. Or even if they're ahead, their mid game just kind of suffers because they don't know what to do. And so it leaves a lot of these teams that are beating them opportunities to kind of come in and make plays, and then it's like, oh, well, we lost. You know, I'm not sure what is going to happen this weekend. I think Cloud9 can probably win. I think they're definitely in a good spot mentally, while TSM is kind of hitting the panic button because, you know, They went 0-2 this week. Did they go 0-2 last week?
No, I think they went 2-0.
Okay. Well, they went 0-2 this week, and they definitely don't want to have another 0-2 week, but it seems like just nothing is working for TSM, and their coaching staff is definitely not helping them out with some of these drafts that they're making. So I'm not exactly sure what TSM can do. They still have some good players. They have Bjergsen and Dardoch and Kabi. I'm not too high on Broken Blade. I've never been super impressed by him. But they're definitely going to try to win. I think that really C9 just needs to kind of be prepared, as well as, just don't get cocky and let TSM do something they shouldn't. We seem to really have a game plan and know what to do in this game now. So I think that it shouldn't be too hard of a game.
I feel like we've kind of switched roles with TSM from a couple of years ago, where TSM was like the super macro team where you could guarantee that they would get gold no matter what. And now they've kind of just flipped into like this gimmicky early game team where they might get first blood 75% of the time, according to Workhole Elixir, and then they just kind of just int away from there, where they just don't understand how to take that pressure from first blood and push it to towers, because they get first blood 75% of the time, but they only get the first tower 50% of the time, and the first dragon 33% of the time. So I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Dardoch might be playing around Broken Blade too much, and it's not allowing them to play the full map. But something just seems off with them, and I don't know if that their game against Cloud9 is going to be the one that switches that thing around.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see. This is going to be definitely a do or die week for TSM, because if they go 0-2 again, that's definitely going to hurt their chances for playoffs.
Yeah, right now they're tied for third with Immortals and Team Liquid, but both those teams have easier schedules than TSM this week because they don't have to play Cloud9, so that helps quite a bit. And then on Monday we play Golden Guardians, who
that should be a free win. There is no way that we're gonna lose to fucking Keith support.
I will say I was wrong about Keith support. He has not been super troll, and
he hasn't been
garbage.
Terrible.
He has been a decent support this year, and for that I know I am wrong, and I will gladly admit I was wrong, because Keith should not be playing support either way, but it's worked out for him. So I still think that we should win that game, probably just as much as we should beat TSM, if not more.
Yeah, I think we should definitely win. A lot of Golden Guardians' successes have really been off of Closer and the team's willingness to kind of make these really gritty plays where Closer is just going to start fighting and everyone just kind of follows him and does whatever Closer does. I haven't been paying attention much to Golden Glue. I'm not sure how much of a season he's been having. Hanser, I'm not sure if he's been hit or miss or not. I honestly haven't been paying attention to GG that much. But I think really we're just stronger in every position.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, honestly, I would say that against everyone at this point, but I feel like we overpower Golden Guardians more than we overpower
sure.
everyone except CLG, because they are just super bad. But
we actually play them next week, so we get to stomp them in the dirt again.
Hopefully, because Licorice made the last one interesting for 2 minutes.
He was just having fun. The game is already over.
I don't blame him, to be honest, but actually I do, because that blabber Q ward hop flash kick on Misfortune was probably one of the best mechanical plays that we've seen in LCS. ever. So he ruined it, and because of that, I'm a little bit salty. So maybe it'll be Blabber's time to fix that.
Yeah. But I think all in all, this should be a 2-0 week. I always throw this out there as a could. We could probably lose to TSM, but I think I'd say it's like 80-20, maybe 70-30 in terms of win-loss. So I think it should be another 2-0 week. The team has been playing super on point. I think as long as we continue to come in to the game with a game plan and stick to that game plan, like we've pretty much been doing this whole season, and just playing as strongly as we have been individually as well as a team, this should be another 2-0 week. So I'm not too worried.
Yeah, but I feel like at some point in time, Cloud9 is going to come out and we're going to lose a game.
No, yeah, we have to lose eventually.
Yeah, there's a certain point in time where we're going to lose, and honestly, if we lose to Keith's support, I won't be that pissed off.
Yeah, I think that 18-0, the dream is definitely something to shoot for, but especially losing now, I wouldn't blame them, just because one, we've already secured playoffs. Two, going undefeated is extremely difficult, and I think that puts your mental in a really weird spot. So, sometimes just to get the loss out of the way, to just kind of clear your head a little bit, may also be really beneficial. And plus, if you lose, you actually have mistakes that you can better look at and say, like, hey, we need to fix this. That may or may not happen, just because it looks like in the LCS, C9 just isn't getting pushed like at all. They're like FlyQuest in their match last week, and maybe TSM the last time we played them were like the closest we've gotten to like teams actually pushing us and trying to make things a little difficult.
And we still beat TSM in like 28 something. So
yeah, our average game time has been like around 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, and this past week after Dig took us to like 33 or 34 minutes, we dropped behind Fnatic for the lowest average game time. So we are not the fastest game time in the world at this point.
Our mid turret also died.
Yeah.
They killed Charlie.
Not ideal. But before we sign off, I'm gonna ask you one more fun question.
Okay.
I prepped you on this. I tweeted this out. But if LCS Scouting Grounds had an NFL Combine, what events or what measures would there be? I pointed out actions per minute, an itemization quiz administered by LS, kind of like the Wonderlic test, and then a bench press competition, so Blabber could lose to Svenskern at something. But I'm open to other ideas.
So I think if we're gonna do an LCS Combine, it would probably be a lot of different things. I think if you're a jungler, there would probably be like similar to like the 40. You'd have like a jungle clearing, like kind of like relay or whatever, just to see like who can clear their jungle the fastest. I think another would maybe be probably some like mechanical drills. Maybe using like active items or whatever. Like measuring DPM for like 80 carries, so they're trying to kite around enemies or something, or just like DPM for like team fights. There's definitely has to be like a 1v1 portion. You could probably throw in some other fun ones, like the Scion Super Speedway challenge that they did. They were doing that last year, I think, for like their League of Legends like post game or whatever. And that's always fun to watch. You can do a lot of crazy stuff with it, just to.
Oh yeah. The best part about it is that every person at the Combine does the same things. So I would love to see a support try and do that DPS thing. There was a punter from Arizona State this year who did 25 reps on the bench press this year, which was probably higher than like
Most
a
punters.
decent amount of players there. I know one of the higher linebackers got 26 or 28. So he was probably in the top percentage of players at the combine this year. I know he has the highest a mark for punters. So I would love to see Vulcan's DPS measured against a lot of top laners and mid laners just for fun. Oh,
Yeah, that would be
so
that would,
or so this punter outperformed 19 offensive linemen on bench press.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything with his arms except throw a ball to punt. So I'm just saying I would love to see a few of these challenges.
Yeah, same here. I think that'd definitely be super fun, and it would be really fun to just kind of do that with Scouting Grounds to kind of make some more Scouting Grounds content, as well as just give the players some fun. I mean, you're flying out a lot of these players to kind of come participate in this whole thing. You might at least make it worth their while.
Oh yeah, and like a lot of like the challenges in the combine are not really important to to draft stock, but a lot of people look at it and see players failing if they run their 40 a little bit too slow. But I think it'd be funny to watch supports or jugglers try and maximize DPS, or ADCs try and clear jungles. So I'm all in on this idea. I have not thought much into it, but I'm still all in.
Yeah. Same here.
All right, well, I think that's about it. It's bedtime for me.
Okay, well, thanks everybody for listening to another episode of Bodied, a Cloud9 Fancast. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at C9Bodied. And yeah, thanks for coming.
Or yeah, and we're climbing up to 150 really soon. So another big milestone for us. So
Excitement.
thanks for listening again, and we appreciate you guys. Bye.